Jeffrey, thanks so much for tuning in to Freedom Uncensored. Today's the day before your season finale. Your season finale episode goes out tomorrow on your page. Tell me a little bit, how are you feeling and what do you hope for next season?
Well, Jared, thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure to be on. So, yes, our season finale is airing tomorrow, January 2nd, Friday, 10 a.m. Central time, and I'm feeling great. We started off, a bit, it was rough, but we got to a point where it got okay, I would say. We're improving as we keep going. Um, we've had, some wonderful guests on. We've had Cameron Rudat, Lily Farrow, and also um, running to succeed Governor Ron DeSantis as Florida's next Republican governor, James Fishback. So that was a privilege having him on and all the guests that I've had on. And we are hoping to, of course, expand. We are on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. You can find us, Conservative Circle. So I think it's been a great season. We're looking to another better season in season two.
Awesome, that's great. And tell me a little bit, how has it been? I know you mentioned you're Floridian, you're from Florida. How has it been interviewing one of the candidates that's a runner-up for governor in Florida? And from your standpoint as a young conservative, what does that mean to you having the opportunity to have interviewed him?
Well, it was again a privilege and an honor, and someone like me. Now I live in a small town in Florida. So I've never have guessed that I could, have done something like this. But starting up something like this has been, it's been great. So I've been looking back at like, how Turning Point USA started, and it started out small. And Charlie Kirk, he said he didn't know what he was doing, and that's the same, kind of with Conservative Circle. We just started our podcast. And we're just going to move forward and keep going. And it was a great time getting to interview James Fishback, who could be our next governor, which we are hoping for here in Florida. Um, so yeah, that's what I have to say.
Tell me a little bit about Fishback as a young conservative, as a young person in Florida. What does it mean to you if he were to be your next governor? What stands out in his campaign and mission that really makes you want to vote for him? Are you even
All right.
allowed to vote
Yeah.
for him? And what what was the guy like on your interview? I saw some clips, but for the people who haven't seen your interview with him yet, how was it for you and what really captivated the energy?
Well, sadly, I won't be able to vote for him in the election because the election's in November and my birthday's in December, so I was very close. But I can certainly get him out there, talk about him. I've had people that have already said that they are planning on voting for him after watching the interview with James Fishback on Conservative Circle. So that was really good. I hope that he will win. And so, what was the next question?
What really stands out for you in his campaign? What makes you want to vote for the guy?
So he's running on affordability. And I really, like that he's running on that. And I think that maybe he will deliver. So he's an investor. So he's also been, bashing Byron Donalds for accepting money from APAC. And I think that's important to do because, James Fishback is not accepting money from, foreign places or, yeah, from these donors. And he has been criticized. James Fishback on calling Byron Donalds a slave to foreign donors. So, yeah. Um, what stands out is also he talked about, um, you know, if you get now you can watch this clip. I think I sent you the clip So this clip will probably be playing that he talked about how we will, if you graduate with a 3 point uh, GPA, you can get $10,000, and that $10,000 can go to your house and something like that. And so, and I think that he's truly a Christian guy, and that's what we need in Florida. That's what we need in politics.
Sure, talking about APAC and private donors, and you mentioned affordability. We've seen already candidates, and this was a mayoral campaign, Mondani winning in New York City and aiming for affordability, but also making the majority of things free. What do you feel differentiates Mondani's message from James Fishback, and how can we really rely on Fishback to provide and to commit to what he actually says without hurting the economy?
Well, really, I don't know much about him. I mean, I've been looking into him because, he's running for governor. Um, but I mean, I do know that he was, born and I think raised here in Florida. Um, he did say working class family. Now, I don't know again a lot about him other than what he's running on and what he have said in his campaigns. So, yeah.
What key point in his campaign message or in the values that he's trying to bring to Florida really stand out the most and make you want to vote for him? What is the highest valued key point on his campaign board that you like?
Um, I have to say his Christian values. And I think that's important. That's what we need in politics because um, we must have a government. We cannot be an anarchy, and it talks about that. I believe somewhere in the Bible. Not exactly sure, but not exactly sure where. But we need a Christian guy in government, in all states of government, in as governor, as a senator, as a U.S. representative, as the president, and I love his values. I love his conservative values and his Christian values.
Awesome. We've seen time and time again Christian politicians or Christian congressmen and governors and mayors sometimes commit crimes and frauds and youth use their religion as a cover up or use Christian values to promote their political campaigns. Does it really matter if a candidate comes in with highly moral Christian values, or is it more important for the American people that the candidate comes in with American values and leans on some Christian values? Because if we're talking about how people make a difference in the community, sometimes they don't even believe in God, and sometimes they're not religious at all.
Oh
So,
yeah. Mhm.
to certain people, would it be more important that he's a Christian man or that he's putting Florida first and the Florida people first?
Well, really, Christian with putting the American people first. That's what I have to say. I mean, um, I believe God first, America and freedom, and God, America, and freedom, and that is what we have on our bio, on our Instagram, on our YouTube, on our TikTok. That's what I believe. So God above all things, America second.
Or so going back to this, if there's two candidates going up for governor, one is like Fishback, has that Christian home-based foundation, and you're settled on that.
Mhm.
But another candidate comes on, he says, I don't know, I'm not really into that religious stuff. I'm not into God, but has a very strong Florida first. Let's fix this. Let's fix that. Let's straighten the infrastructure. Let's reform our criminal justice system. And he goes deep into the issues that some people might say Florida is facing. Which one's the winner up in your book? And why do you think some people in Florida might favor one over the other?
Well, I think I would have. Okay, so if you're going to, all right, I like putting Florida first, but again, I said God first, and then whatever comes next. Now, I think whenever he talks about Florida first, it's not meaning like first. Like, of course, God comes first, but he's running for, governor, of course. So of course he's going to, make the statement that, Florida first, and we're gonna put Florida first, and we're gonna do this, and great. And so yeah.
Awesome. And putting, I guess, Ron DeSantis, I think he's another runner-up. Is he running again for Floridian
No,
governor?
so no, Ron DeSantis is term limited.
Okay. Yeah, so I wasn't sure about that, if he was gonna now run for one of the congressmen in the Senate. But if we're looking at the power of the democracy in states, we can clearly see the take that New York is leaning in a democratic socialist party
Hmm.
movement, and we're seeing that Florida is leaning in a heavily saturated Republican movement. But you guys did just win Miami as a Democratic mayor. So do you feel that Republicans will still continue to have the support from Miami and other big cities like that? Or do you think Florida is now going to start leaning Democratic in the next 4 years?
Um, well, again, I hope not. Um, I think Florida will continue to lean Republican. Um, of course, with I guess so in our next season, we're going to be covering the midterms all season. So I think that, to be honest, I do think, and I'm of course scared at this, that Republicans, would take the majority in 26. I mean, if Republicans don't, um, stop them, I believe we must stop them from winning. But yeah.
Okay. And now with the current Democratic mayor, do you think it'll be a big issue to make people lean back toward Republican values, or do you feel like a lot of these Democrats are coming from outer states? Because Miami, it is a tech giant and it is an entertainment giant.
Yeah. Mm.
Do you think Floridians are leaning Democrat, or do you just think Democrats are moving into Miami?
I would say that they are probably just the Democrats um, moving to Miami more. I mean, again, I hope Florida does not become a Democratic state. Um, we need to keep that red. Um, Florida's Florida is my home. That's what I have to say.
Awesome. I love that. Okay. Moving on to other topics, I guess we've just seen a lot of the younger people leaning more conservative. Tell me a little bit about your take on Turning Point's Amfest that just happened about what, 2, 3 weeks ago. Um, as a young conservative, how do you feel about the event? And do you think Turning Point will continue to have an impact in communities just like yours and in states and cities like Miami?
So I didn't watch the full Amfest, but I saw a little bit of highlights, and I'd have to say it was a little bit of a bloodbath. But um, I don't know. Turning Point is not the same as it used to be. Losing our wonderful founder, Charlie Kirk. Was really just hard. Um, and why Conservative Circle was, started and founded, um, was a lot because of the impact that Charlie Kirk left on me. So that's why I started this podcast. But of course, I said this in my, finale. We cannot dwell on, the past and, his death, but we must keep moving forward and we must pick up the mic. Obviously, I, don't like to say this, but I feel like it could start dying down. And because, I mean, a lot of people were angry when Erica Kirk, became the CEO, and there's a lot of things going around about her and these conspiracies. Now, I don't believe in all of them. Um, you know, Candace Owens making a lot of, claims and really targeting Turning Point. So I think that a lot of people are going to start leaving Turning Point, and I think that it's just going to, you know, die down. Now, I don't want it to die down. I want it to grow, and I pray that it will grow, and that a lot of chapters have been started since Charlie Kirk's death. I don't know the number. I do not have that with me, but it was a lot of chapters. I believe a couple thousand. I'm not sure.
Right. She mentioned like 5,000 or something.
Yeah, something like that. So I hope it will continue to grow, and not die down, because I mean, of course, Turning Point is not the same without Charlie Kirk, but we must keep going.
Right, for sure. And like I guess the big issue that I'm facing is that Turning Point, it used to be one collaborative center. Like now we have Blexit and the Daily Wire and all these, like the Megyn Kelly show, all these people supporting Turning Point. And I guess what I saw this year that was different was that everybody was supporting Turning Point in the mourning and loss of Charlie, but in previous years, we haven't seen that many sponsorships or companies or other podcasters and other people like the Daily Wire to actually show up. And I'm not sure if I remember it was the Daily Wire that was there or it was somebody else, but we are seeing these other companies that used to be rivals start to show up. And we're, like I mentioned, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro. We saw all these figures speaking at Turning Point,
Mhm.
but they're still not united. We, like how you mentioned, it was a bloodbath. It was hefty, and people were arguing from one against the other on stage and calling out Candace Owens or calling out Nick Fuentes. JD
Yeah.
Vance had a seminar on how Republicans need to be united on the last day. And I feel like unity should have been the main center of attention because the way I see it, Turning Point is just a giant organization that wants to be the center, but is really pushing towards, hey, don't join these other clubs. We're the only right one. And I guess it's turning people off. People want to join their Congress. People want to join their city halls. People want to join their local state governments.
Mhm.
But Turning Point is like, I don't know, don't do that. Like, come and help us instead recruit more people and be a recruiter or help us grow the org. And it's like, it's not leading towards more. It's not making the impact that it used to be focused on. And I think that now younger people are starting to notice that the Charlie Kirk show isn't the same anymore. I think every episode since he got assassinated has only been on his assassination, which is personally to me, I understood it. I understood the first 10 days that they were like, let's talk about Charlie, let's remember Charlie. But
Yeah.
they haven't gotten back on track to let's talk about these critical issues. Let's talk about the GOP. Let's talk about what's really going on financially in the fiscal year of 2026. And it's like, All these things and topics that used to make the Charlie Kirk show great have just faded off. And our CEO, where is she? On Fox News was Fox and Families every morning talking about Charlie Kirk and how she suffered, but she's not talking about the turning point. And the turning point for me was when they would go on college campuses and make young conservatives shift to let's bring in the Democrats, let's bring in the liberals and have a discussion. Now it's more like let's try and stay safe because we're being harassed. And from my perspective, I don't care if I get harassed because I know I haven't done anything wrong and I'm just speaking the truth. And if somebody tries to harass me, it's a violation of my personal space. And I know as a young conservative, you might feel the same way. Maybe on the internet, you might have received hateful comments and stuff from people that don't support your ideas or value the same topics.
So much
You know?
more than I think it's so much more than that. I think they now I've shared this with you. The hate comment that I got, I don't know if I really want to say it here. But there's just I wish people would have more sympathy. What is wrong with that? Like, why can't people be more decent? And yeah, a man was killed. Why do you have to make fun of his death?
Right. I
Just just say rest in peace or don't say anything at all.
feel like people are way too desensitized to even
Hmm.
acknowledge death and pain and mourn. Like,
Hmm.
when was the last time we saw a public figure like Charlie Kirk who brought peace and religion and honesty to college campuses get assassinated publicly? Like it's been a while.
Okay, I think the recent one, other than Charlie Kirk's death, was it Kennedy in 1963? I'm not sure if we had more,
Right,
but
but if we're talking about Kennedy, he was a president, and to like a lot of people get
oh,
offended. Like if you say
Okay, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Hmm.
like what like even then Kennedy it was a while. It hasn't been like 5 years in Kennedy. Um, like have we seen mass shootings? Yeah, but have we seen targeted assassinations on public speakers who are activists for the youth? No, we haven't seen that in like a long time. I think the last time we saw an activist get assassinated for just speaking for his community was MLK. And where was that? Where was his assassination? Jacksonville?
Actually, you're gonna be disappointed. I don't even know who that is.
MLK?
No.
Martin Luther King Jr.?
What? Wait. Oh, MLK. Oh, I thought. Okay, yeah, no, no. I think he was assassinated in. No, he was assassinated in Tennessee.
He was assassinated. Da, 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 da.
Tennessee.
I mean, assassination here says National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. So
Hmm?
I was like, ain't no way Jeffrey doesn't know who
I know.
I was like, geez.
Yeah, I thought
But
you said something else, but yeah, yeah, Martin Luther King. Yes, that's right.
all right. Well, as a young conservative yourself, I think you're safer being in Florida than any of the other states, especially because the majority is Republicans in Florida. Do you fear, or do you think that some of your followers and some people that watch your show and follow you might fear going outside and publicly saying, hey, I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, I'm a Christian, and this is who I am?
And so the question was again, do you feel like some of my followers, is that what you were
Yes,
asking?
yeah, yeah, like people that might look up to you, people that might value the same issues, people that share the connection that you do with the gospel and with the Christian roots and values.
I think there could be, and here's my message. Are if you are like scared of, getting involved and, making your own content, I have to say, take the leap of faith. And that's what I have to say all the time. Because, Charlie Kirk did say that. Um, Stand up for what you believe in. If you do not fight for it, you won't get it. And that's just what I believe. I had a conversation with my sister, and she was like, so she's not big into politics. So sorry, sister, if you're watching this. She's like, I just wish people would help the animals. And I said, if you want to help the animals, then you get out there and do something about it. You make yourself known, and I don't know, start your own party, start your own organization, start your own whatever it is, podcast, whatever. Because if you see a need, then get out there and do it. Don't wait around for politicians to fix it because they're not. You have to do it. So that is my message to people that could be, scared or, you know, not sure if they, want to do it because of safety concerns.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree completely with that. I think, and that's something I actually reflect a lot on. I think on my upbringing. I love penguins. I love penguins. I love sea turtles, polar bears. I love all kinds of animals. But my whole life, I grew up with people telling me, oh, we have the macaws are going into extinction, and the gray elephants are going into extinction, and the rhinos are going into extinction. And to me, it was like, I love all these animals, and I want to travel the world someday, and I want to visit all the parts of
Mhm.
um, the world, and I want to get to see these animals with my own eyes that I've read and like that I think are awesome. But nobody's protecting them, nobody's looking out for them. And if I don't do something about it, all these animals are probably gonna die, and I'm never gonna get to see my dream come true. So, apart from the show, apart from Freedom Uncensored and the whole Freedom Uncensored company, I run 10, 12 startup companies from tech to clothing to branding to like anything you can imagine. But the one I really struggled with for sure has been my animal focus foundation. Um I forgot what I call it, but it's mainly animal uh sanctuaries, rescue, everything that has to do with protecting wildlife. And what I've noticed is that people are big on protesting for it. People are like big on putting bills, but
Mhm.
nobody wants to fund it. Nobody really is willing to put the money in. And I tell myself, how is it possible that all these activists that are out here, but the moment I tell them, hey, would you like to donate $5 to put more ice, cooling pads in the Arctic to help these animals, they're like, oh, I can't, I don't have my wallet. And it's like, okay, then what are you activating for? What is your activism for if you're not willing to donate and put your part in the cause that you're fighting for?
Exactly.
Let's get back to the interview. It's been great having Jeffrey here from Conservative Circle. He's the main host. And to continue off, we'd like to talk about his upcoming segments for what he has planned on season two.
Yeah. All right. So thank you. So for season two, we are planning these. We have two segments that we are going to possibly do for season two. So we have the comments where we will read your comments. So it'll probably be like a weekly thing. We'll ask you to comment and then we'll just, read that comment and answer it probably as best as we can. And then also we're going to be doing polls. And as you know, Jared, you've seen a lot of polls that I've been posting on Instagram. And this is just, to see what people think and everything. And I want to share a few polls and I also shared in my finale. So, what team are you? Now, I'm not trying to like divide people, but I just posted this poll. So, are you team Candace Owens or are you team Erica Kirk? Because there's been, those Candace be throwing a lot of conspiracies, I feel lately. So 20% said Candace Owens and Erica Kirk 80%. And then also, if you haven't noticed, Mike Lindell is on the ballot for Minnesota governor. I took that poll. Mike Lindell for Minnesota governor, 60% say yes, 40% say no. And then I'm just gonna share, a one other poll, and that's it. How would you rate President Trump for 2025? 50% say he's doing great, 36% say fair, and 14% say bad. So I just wanted to share a few of those polls. So yeah, so on Instagram I'll be posting a lot of polls like I have been lately, and I will keep doing that. And every week we will have a poll of the week. So that is what I plan to do with our season two, the segment.
That's awesome. I love those segments. They're captive. I think it's great hearing back from the people that view you what their opinions are on certain issues. Um, but yeah, I saw that one about Candace Owens v. Erica Kirk, and I was like, I'm pretty sure for the most part on the conservative side, most people would lean with Erica Kirk. Um, Personally, I don't know which one yet because it is iffy subject to touch on, and there's a lot going on in that case that it's like
Mhm.
who really is being honest. A lot of people might say, well, it's obvious, it's Erica Kirk, but you gotta remember at the start of Candace Owens' little maniac, uh, I don't even know what to call that, her little spew. She
Mhm.
was right about a lot of stuff when it first happened. So it's like, what now?
Do you mean like, are you talking about when Charlie Kirk was assassinated that she was right about a few things?
Right.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I just think that, she's been, making up a lot of these conspiracies. So I don't know if it's because she's, grieving and she's grieving, differently, because I mean everyone does grieve differently. But I think to just make up things is another thing, and I don't think it's really grief.
Yeah, it got weird when she started talking about the Egyptian planes and stuff.
Yeah.
But also, I guess to finish off the segment, this is the season finale episodes towards season one of Conservative Circle. What is one of your top priorities going into season two? And how do you hope to captivate your audience?
Well, that is a great question. So my priority is to, of course, I really want to grow the show. And I think that with the polls, also the comment section, I think that will also, help with our podcast and help engage, like, posting these polls out. And that's what I, plan to do.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. And do you hope to stay mainly on, well, you mentioned now Tim Walz in the Minnesota elections, but do you hope to be more US centered or more Florida centered? Because I know you just had a fishback on your show.
Yes. So I hope to be more US censored. I, again, yeah, Florida's my home, but, I gotta be out there in US because I don't know, something like
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's our state, our country, so it's good to talk about it.
it is our country. Yes.
Any last words you'd like to say to any viewers on this interview? What do you hope they think of Conservative Circle, and what do you want to be for them?
Well, I want to be a place where, um, now you can always DM me. So if you follow and I follow you back, go ahead, DM me, or, if you have any questions or if you want to see change through Conservative Circle, DM me, and I'm open to hear what you have to say. I've gotten some good comments. I've gotten some good support through some people, um, and I just hope to do what the Lord would want me to do. And if the Lord is calling you to be a voice, be a voice. Do not be afraid. Do not let anyone censor you, and just keep fighting.
I love that. Well, Thanks so much, Jeffrey. Thank you for hopping on to Freedom Uncensored and being one of our lovely
Yes,
guests
thank
here. We love always having you, and we hope the best for season two. We know that season one has already been incredible, and we know that it's going to keep growing. Sadly, we couldn't have Eli here today with us, but he is your buddy, and he's always there, and we also hope the best for him. Of course, he's younger conservative, but it's always great to have people who are upcoming in this environment part of the environment, and that way we can get their feedback as well. So thanks so much. You guys can go tune in on Conservative Circle on Instagram and YouTube at Conservative Circle 1776, I believe.
Yes, so our YouTube, let me just, sorry, pull that up real quick. I'm so sorry. All right, so our YouTube is at Conservative Circle. Okay, you got the little, I don't know if it's a, what is it? Not a dash, thing,
Yeah.
for forever. Conservative Forever. So you can find us, just look us up, Conservative Circle, our logo. And that is, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jeffrey, and I will see you guys tomorrow.